Welcome to Blendy Bits, bite-sized lessons to help you master the Blend protocol. Today we're going to go over how to borrow and repay funds, so essentially taking out a loan and then the process of paying it back. We're working on the Blend testnet for this demo, so I've got that loaded up and my wallet connected already. In order to borrow funds, we need to first supply some collateral. We covered this in the previous video, but let's quickly supply some XLM as collateral so we can in turn borrow some funds. So on the dashboard here, I'm going to scroll down, click on supply. It'll show you the assets supported in the pool. We're going to supply XLM, and we are going to supply exactly 4,762 XLM. 4,762 XLM equates to $2,000 here on the testnet. The collateral factor for this asset in this pool is 90%, which essentially means for every dollar we supply, we can then borrow 90 cents against it. So a 90% collateral factor with $2,000, you'll see your borrow capacity is now $1,800. Let's go ahead and supply that. Confirm that transaction in our wallet. Once that is confirmed, we'll see the UI update to show your supplied positions with our XLM we just supplied. Your borrow capacity will show that 1,800. This is the percentage of your borrow capacity being used. We don't currently have any loans out, so that is 0. We're in the green there. So now that we have collateral supplied, let's go ahead and borrow some funds. We will click the Borrow tab. Let's go ahead and borrow some ETH. Here we have a couple options. We can manually enter an amount, or we can use this big scary max button. So if we click this max button, what that's going to do is borrow up to 98% of our total capacity. So putting you right on the edge of being liquidated, playing with fire essentially. We supplied XLM. Of course, XLM is a volatile asset, not meant to be stable. So as the price of that goes up and down, our borrow limit would go up and down and puts us at risk of being liquidated once this gets high. So don't suggest using the max button and putting yourself at risk here. So let's go ahead and just borrow 0.2 ETH. You'll see down below in the transaction overview how this new loan will affect your borrow capacity and your borrow limit. We'll be using 55% of our total capacity after this loan. Let's go ahead and click borrow and confirm that transaction in our wallet. Once that is done, we'll see a new section in the UI, your borrowed position with that ETH position. So now when it comes time to repay our loan, we have a couple options. We'll go ahead and click the repay button. You're of course free to partially repay your loan at any time. Let's go ahead and repay half of that. Transaction overview will show that our borrow capacity, of course, goes up because we're paying some of this back, and we will now only be using 27% of our total capacity. Let's go ahead and click repay and confirm that transaction. So now we'll have repaid half of our loan. If we, for instance, wanted to completely repay this loan, we would click on repay. And when we're repaying a loan, this max button will put in everything we owe, and then it will add on an extra 0.5%. As long as you have a little bit extra ETH in your wallet, this will set to overpay your loan. You'll see amount to repay and amount to return. And the reason it's going to do that is because this is a loan. Of course, there's an interest rate associated with that. If that interest rate was high, from the time that you input exactly what you owe and you click repay, transaction processes, you might actually owe just a little bit more, kind of like interest. Think of it as interest dust. And so what the UI does, if you overpay it, it'll make sure to pay everything back, and everything beyond that will automatically be returned to you. So if you're looking to totally close out a loan, definitely use this max button. Transaction overview will show that we'll have our full capacity available, and our borrow limit, we're paying everything back, so we're using 0% of what we're allowed. So let's go ahead and click repay and confirm that transaction, and that should completely close out our loan. All done there, and there we go. Our loan is completely closed out. If you have any questions about anything we covered in this or any other video, you can join the Blend Discord. You can find the link to that on their homepage at blend.capital. As always, stay blended, not rugged, and we'll catch you on the next bit.